And our first order of business is to amend and approve the minutes from our May 1st meeting. Have you both had an opportunity to go through those? Entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any additions or deletions, edits of any kind? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Very good.
No.
And we've got two non-public meetings here from May 1st. One concerning a vet credit and one concerning a tax collection issue. We've got some minutes here from January 15th also. From the warrant article work session we did with the budget work, that apparently.
There was some mix-up with the video, and Martha was able to put some in.
Oh, okay, great. Would you guys like an opportunity to review these? Or? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as written from January 15th, 2004, police and office budget and warrant article work session.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Action item update from our May 1st meeting. Bill,
Yeah, I'm gonna try to work through this. Other people will probably know more about it than I do, but I spent an hour or so with Goody. And, assuming that's a nice road, if a house sits here, they have, I believe the number is, I don't remember, 200 feet of road frontage or something like that, then it meets the state guidelines. What happens in the Couture thing, he's got a house up here, and there is a, well, I can't remember the road, but anyway, I think there's a road that goes up this way.
Yeah.
And then there is an existing entrance that was an old, what they call a driveway or whatever that is. And under the current rules, I understand, in other words, this is what got the okay, because it was there, it was existing, and it was used. He now has this road that goes like this, and this is really the issue question, is this road. And assuming this is approved and meets reasonable guidelines, you don't have to go through it. This part becomes the life safety issue, which then is theoretically or actually determined by Jay to meet state requirements on emergency access, all kinds of things. So there was some question, as I understand it, now this part is, there is some question that the previous building inspector said, okay, this is fine. But in fact, this is like virtually everything else, good, bad, or different, there's no record. And if it's contrary to law, you really can't do that anyway, it doesn't matter. So the question is still up in this part of his driveway, is it going to be approved or not? It's my understanding that, let's say Jay says, he looks at it and says, well, I can't approve it that way. And so Couture says, well, wait a minute, I was told it was okay. Then it would be appealed to the planning board. The planning board would then decide what they're gonna do with it. And if they say, no, we're not gonna approve it, then it's kicked to here, the selectmen. And the selectmen can make a decision within reason, obviously. Within reason, whether you want to approve this, to say, yes, that's acceptable under, the terms of the agreement, law, whatever you determine. So that's where the selectmen come into play.
What if it isn't?
I'm sorry?
What if it isn't acceptable? Or if that section?
Well, then he can go to court. He can go to court.
When you said planning board, did you mean zoning board of adjustment?
Maybe I meant zoning board. I'm not sure which one. I
Yeah.
think it's
It's
probably
at the
zoning.
zoning board.
Right, right,
He's
right,
at the zoning board, so
Right.
they don't approve it.
right.
Then it can, essentially, he can appeal to us, I guess. And then if we don't approve it, then he can go to court.
Mhm. Okay,
That's it.
right, okay. And so that was what the life safety.
As far as I know, that's what it was about.
Just- Okay, filling us in on.
What was the
It's
issue
state
here over this
level
whole thing?
Ordinances.
This is covered under state law.
Right. Yeah,
What's that road that runs vertically there?
I don't know, I guess I didn't, this may be Green Hill Road, as a matter of fact.
He comes off of Green Hill.
Yeah, well, then that's what it is, it's Green Hill
That's-
Road. He doesn't come clear down to 16, he comes off of Green Hill Road.
He comes
Yeah.
off of Green Hill.
yeah, he's on the other side actually, but yeah.
Oh, over here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's,
But, yeah, I get that. Okay, great. All right,
okay?
that's pretty good. Thank you. John. Julie, driveway policy
That is down below in the agenda.
on old business or separate?
New business. Letter D.
Excellent. Deal with that then. Land use agreement, draft up from Health Trust, that's something we're about to
Yeah.
go into. Julie Hoyt. thank you, letter.
She knows she needs to do that, but she just got back, so she hasn't had.
Did you finally get on the plane?
She finally got on the phone.
Good, okay, excellent. And then, selectmen's meeting dates for June, June 5th at 4:30, June 19th at 4:30.
I won't be here on the 5th.
Well, I won't be here on the 19th. So, we can take another look at those dates, or still have a quorum on each meeting, so, plow right through.
Okay.
Burr, with transfer station options. Was that put on because of the email that came to me?
That was just left on the action item list as something that we needed to follow up on.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was wondering where that was at with Burr's research into some options for restructuring up there, and had a talk with him, and the email basically says he's, taking a look at it and feels like he's about $3,500 to $4,500 is what he's gonna be into to provide us with that, some conceptual plans, different options that may come along with a recommendation. And I said, well, let's make sure that's clear with our colleagues over in Bartlett. And then I asked him if he wanted me to forward the email to Gene, and he said, well, I'll just call him. And then you've got the email he sent out at 2:25 this afternoon. They don't really have a budget right now. They were hoping to get that before their annual meeting, so they don't have funds available to cover that level of cost, and so, but there are some options out there, maybe out of the operational budget or whatever, but it's probably going to be needed to come together and have a conversation about that, so I told them I wanted to kind of hear what was going on over in Bartlett when they saw those numbers, so we didn't just like make assumptions. So you guys can read those emails.
Is
we have
we're
time.
gonna set up the meeting with everyone, or?
We haven't gotten that far yet. I think that, I think we should take a look at, I don't know that we necessarily have that kind of money in our budget either. I mean, that kind of makes total sense with me. I mean, we needed to find that money in a budget in February. No one was talking about it in February, so where was it gonna come from anyway? And so I think we need to take a look at our end of it as well. So maybe that can be an action item for all this here, for
Okay.
now the next meeting. And then, that's it on the action items. So we got old library up early on, primarily because of all the work that, or the input we've gotten since the last meeting. You guys want to come up and join us?
Sure. This, what I have to say maybe Luke, if, Nadia is going to be the person that writes this up rather than us taking, suggestions from Sanderson. Sanderson's the one who sent out the email.
Through legal inquiries?
Yes,
Email trust,
LGC,
yeah.
okay. So, I think there are several things that he doesn't quite understand. One being that, I don't know if you have a copy. Right?
You want me, I'll be listening.
Okay, all right, here you go. Without using public funds, is in the first
Right.
paragraph.
Yeah.
Well, that's incorrect, because $60,000 of public funds were voted at town meeting, supplemented by private donations. In the second, well, then further on, he says it looks like the building will be actually operated by the nonprofit. We're not operating a building, we're part of the town, we're agents appointed by the town to oversee the building. What this is a simple rental agreement between the town and the PCA. We're part of the town. We're not a third party at all. That's us being the old library trust. Then it says if the town actually operates the building, that part of the problem goes away, etc. The town does operate the building, having appointed us, the committee, to act as agents of town. I know this is sounding redundant. Another way out of the issue would be the sale of the physical structure to the corporation. No is what I said. Nobody wants that, and it's not necessary. Now, there's something about differing and competing interests. There are no differing and competing interests. We're all together on this. The old library trust wants the town to have an agreement with the PCA for everybody's benefit. It's very simple. Now, there's an RSA quoted at the end, and it seems to me that that's kind of an opposite RSA. That's the town renting out something to somebody else. I don't think that's relevant at all. We are the town renting land from somebody else for a good hours. The other thing is that there are a couple of ancient agreements with the PCA that were allowed to lapse. So, having lapsed, do they exist at all? Since we have been still paying money every year as rent, does that make the agreement active? Does it imply that it's active because we're paying money, even though nothing was ever renewed formally and signed?
There's no paper.
But regardless of all of that, what we'd like, I think what everybody would like, is just for the town to have a very simple agreement with the PCA that has to be renewed apparently every 5 years to pay them the rent for the use of the land.
That would have to be approved by the voters.
I don't think so. It's something that's gonna happen forever.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
concerned with.
When we went through all the old town reports, we didn't even know there'd ever been an arrangement, and we kept finding money being paid by the town to the PCA, and then Joyce Allen came up with the actual agreement, which is but it's hard, it doesn't seem that it's ever gone before town meeting.
No, I don't, not to my recollection, but I'm just saying,
And
I wonder
even,
that
you know-
this agreement might have to. That's what I'm worried about, or concerned about, I shouldn't say worried about, concerned.
I don't see why they would have to. It's just an ongoing, something that's happened through the years. It wasn't renewed in 1984 after 50 years. And it's just a matter of getting the paperwork straightened up, signed by the church. And I think you start something different when you start thinking that the people have to vote on it. That brings up more problems, I think.
Yeah, I would think that,
You know,
you three would be able to.
I can't support it because I think it's a legal mess and unless somebody helps me straighten it out.
Do you really?
Yes, I do. I was all for it, I supported your money, I did everything, but I'm not a lawyer and it sounds like that this thing is complicated. I don't have an answer, but it sounds complicated to me.
Yeah,
And I'm not legal enough to tell you I would buy it.
Maybe your lawyer, well, the town.
Well,
will
yeah.
straighten it out for you.
At Peter's recommendation,
Peter.
Peter Malley at Town
Oh,
Council,
his
we
name's
always
Peter, okay.
start with these types of questions by
Right.
going to the health trust. That's what he
Okay.
tells us to
Right.
always do when stuff like this happens. And so the town hall lease ended up in the mix. And I think it was because at the time we felt that, or somebody felt that was a great example of a lease to use. And that's when the interpretation came, well, this is completely different because it's not town land. And they operate the old town hall. And so I think that's how that language got inserted in, because we don't operate that building as per that lease. And so that's when they said, well, you've got different entities operating it, and you've got different entities owning the land, so that doesn't transfer over. And so I could understand where, if we went back and said, well, you know, I don't know what the legal definition is of operating a building, so maybe I want to get that clear. I think we've, you know, and I know that Joyce weighed in.
Yeah, and she would be here, except that she's walking around the perimeter with my leader.
Yeah, right, I knew that was happening at the same time this meeting.
Yeah, but I
Weighed
think
in,
she said, let's keep it simple.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and so she kind of weighed in on how often that association meets, which isn't often, but could meet, you know, when there's a major issue like this. And I think that, and I asked Peter 2 days ago, I guess it was, could you interpret this? I said, the only thing that's clear to me from their opinion was that they didn't understand that this is about using public funds. I mean, that was clear to me when I read it. That was pretty,
Yeah,
they
I thought he made
misinterpreted
some
that
mistakes.
from the get-go. And I
Right.
said, you know, this was a town warrant article, so it is obviously using public funds. I don't know if that changes anybody's opinion or what. And he was not able to get back to me before the meeting today. I was hoping to hear from him at some point
well,
today. When are you guys
I
meeting
could
next? Are you meeting on?
send June 1st. I could send him my comments.
Mhm.
Um,
I don't think,
just don't feel there are three parties in
Right.
this.
Yeah,
Right.
It's
they should
two,
have got it wrong.
yeah.
town, PCA.
Well, I want him to weigh in on what, because obviously we want to know too, and the number of concerns here that have to be like, what does it mean to designate someone as operating the building? So I think we can work that out and then have the town feeling comfortable, have the board feeling comfortable, the town feeling comfortable that it's between us and the Chapel Association board,
Right,
then there's a way forward with that.
yeah. And nobody's paying rent for use of the building either.
Right. And just because hasn't been a regular agreement all these years, and yet there's been $100 going out all these years, doesn't mean that, you know, that was the right way to handle it either.
Well, it just lapsed and it
Yeah.
was informal
Right.
and.
It's not like there was
It
any.
needs to be formalized.
Yes,
Or
it does.
bad
And
intentions,
we
right.
want you to formalize it.
Right.
You know, we haven't been hauled in here by somebody else. We're asking you to do this.
Have you sent a copy of this to Julie?
No, but I
Okay.
can't.
Yeah, if you could send this as an attachment to her, I got a feeling I am gonna be hearing, we will be hearing back from him by Friday, and, you know,
You understand that the different font and the italics are what I say.
Yeah, you can have that too, that's the second page of it, so maybe.
okay,
Make it-
yeah.
Or I can just give this to you, but she can type it electronically.
If you've got it electronically, that would be
Oh, yeah.
great, just for us to save it too, and we'll pass that along to him, and
Maybe we'll
I
revise
saw
it.
what I got scanned and sent to me was just, what is that very last?
It's the last page up there. What's the last page on it? The last one. There you go.
Oh, that one.
Handwritten.
Like a shopping
Pews.
list.
Raising the red.
Pews.
Yeah,
It looks like it was written in margin or something
and
else.
so,
Yeah.
I don't know how Joyce came up with this,
Well, that was raising the
but
rent.
she,
Oh, that's what that was.
That little, yeah,
No, this is selling the pews.
that's raising the rent. Under pew 22, I think.
I think it's a good idea for us to keep meeting and talking about
Yeah,
this
it's there.
forward until we get an
Let's see.
understanding of the best way
It's
forward.
there.
No, I have to call my leader after this, because he wanted to talk.
February 24th, 1979, PCA voted to inform selectmen that
Wait,
rent
wait.
for the library land will be raised to $100.
I would say we're waiting
So
for our
that's-
town council to respond. We
That's
asked him
it.
to weigh in on the legal opinion we got from Health Trust earlier in the week.
Okay.
And he hasn't had an opportunity to get back to us with a response. It was gonna take some research, and he just didn't have enough blocks of time to deal with it.
So in other words, just slow it down.
Well, it's a separate issue. I think
It is,
everybody would
I
like
know.
to see, I know you guys would like to see
Yeah.
some
But you also
security
have-
moving forward
Yes.
with your project, no question
Well,
about it. But
yes,
this
but-
came up, but this, you know, came up during the annual meeting. You know, really for the first time that I was part of a conversation that had to do with it. So, you can tell him that I'm happy to, you know, certainly we're all gonna get the copy of Peter's opinion when he has an opportunity to deal with it. Whether we'll feel like we need to come together and talk about it because it's town business, or we can just distribute it to you guys and let you know what he does, and we'll weigh in on that and take it from there. But I really think that this is something that, in my opinion, should be on the agenda for every meeting until we get somewhat settled with it.
Okay, and the,
Make progress, if we need to come together, talk about it, if it's urgent, we need to schedule a special meeting, we can do that too.
Okay.
I don't know how you guys feel.
I think that's fine. I support it. We thought we were gonna get this done in June or July.
Yeah, right,
right.
This
So do we.
just came to them. I mean,
I
you
know.
know, you really just need to clarify.
Good, that was fine.
Maybe clarified easily. May just be
Yeah,
real
and the
easy.
church is so easy to deal with, no matter.
Based on what you said, that may help it resolve.
And we could meet with Peter.
Yeah.
I just,
We'll find out what he's got to say and what his recommendations are for next steps forward. He may basically say, okay, then the way this is that the three entities need to come together and hash out an agreement, or just two of the three, and we'll see what his opinion is, and we'll take it from there. All right?
cool.
Anything else you want us to be focused on between now and the next meeting?
No, that's a great thing.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You came in and you saw all the work we've done, and you should be waving
Well,
about it to your cronies here.
You've done a lot of that work, even further back, because I was in there a year ago. So
Well, you haven't
you
done
are
it.
getting committed. The place
I don't
does-
disagree with you.
They've got some nice.
I know, I haven't drank it once. I haven't had one in probably 3 months.
All right,
All
thanks.
place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sean, police report.
Afternoon, everyone.
Thank you.
How's it going, Sean?
It's going all right. Anyone else getting attacked by allergies?
No.
Sorry.
Just black
Sorry to
flies
hear.
coming out.
Mm.
It's a different attack.
Yeah, right. So calls for service for us. We had one untimely death, a found property report. We had no trespass warnings. 2 of those we dealt with. 3 welfare checks. 2 project good morning checks. A suspicious circumstance report. Assist Bartlett Police Department with a suicidal subject. 2 medical assist calls. We had a be on the lookout request from Carroll County Sheriffs of a missing hiker. So when they do that, they ask us to check all the trailhead parking lots and everything. He ended up being found in Lincoln anyway, which is good. 4 burglar alarms, false alarms. Fire call assist. One call out for a fire call assist. 1 property damage report at one of the local inns. 1 motor vehicle accident. We assisted 1 motorist. 1 arrest for operating under suspension. And a VIN verification. One call for that. Other than that, it's been not too bad, but I guess next weekend's going to be the big one. Memorial Day weekend, so
Right.
wild quacked up days and everything that's going on.
You guys are like a machine for that, Joe. You're ready. You know what you need to do.
Oh, yeah, we enjoy that.
Yeah. Yeah, got a lot of people in town, especially if the weather's good, so.
Sure.
All right. Any, apparently John had no questions. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. So, building inspector updates.
I think there are just 3 reports that he, those are just the emails that he sends weekly.
Okay, did you make, are there 3 copies here?
I did not.
Just 1 copy?
Yeah.
I don't
They
think
don't
they
give,
can.
you want to give an update?
Well, in other words, I don't necessarily read those detail. I did glance at it when they came through.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to talk about the inspector, do you want to talk about the inspector or just the reports?
I'm ready to talk about an update
Okay.
on where you are with the process.
Okay.
You're the one that's supposed to.
Okay. I hope. Anyway, I think when we left at some point in time, people were concerned about the cost of the engineering firm in Vermont, and that we really didn't have a qualified person. The other person was interested but learning. So at that point we said, let's post it again. We'll change the posting a little bit so it might invite someone in who says, oh, I'll work part-time and still be covered under the insurance policy, which we said maybe that'll do better. We got no applicants from that, 0. So we had a person, I think Julie was kind of working with somebody. Anyway, they said there might be 2 people. There's one in Berlin maybe that has been laid off, and then there's one in Gorham, New Hampshire, that works part-time. So, isn't that correct, or am I missing it?
No, I don't know which was which, but yeah.
Gorham, New Hampshire is the other person that worked part-time.
Yes, correct.
Anyway, I sat down and went through with Goody. The person in Berlin is not available, period. And he said, Goody felt pretty confident. He said, this person isn't going to work in Jackson. He said, you're welcome to go through it and try it. Said, but it's just not going to work out.
The Bergen.
No,
Gorham.
Gorham, New Hampshire fellow. I don't want to get confused. Just okay. So I never pursued it any further. So I went back, Goody and I sat down and we talked about Kevin. Spent a lot of time how we could deal with Kevin. And without this other application that was very recent, I was going to make a presentation about Kevin and what the opportunity was. With this person who now has an application in late from the closing date, but certainly I think our best option right now, we're trying to set an interview with him on Wednesday, get everybody in and do a panel interview on Wednesday. He does appear to have all of the, reasonable certifications, experience and all that, and he's part-time in Gore, Maine, but not far away enough to make it impossible to be up here, only further than probably Goody is in Berlin, more or less. So my proposal at this point is we go ahead and interview the person on Wednesday. Isn't it Wednesday or Thursday you said?
You're gonna try for Wednesday first. And
Okay. Anyway, and go through and get the committee together and interview him, and then from that, I mean, if you cross your fingers and he's interested, he looks like he might be a fit, my suggestion would be that we look at him very carefully, because he's the first reasonably qualified person we've seen. Within the rates, I'm sorry, the Vermont people were probably very qualified, but we have not talked with him. We got the resume. The resume looks good. I've been to it 2 or 3 times. It looks very acceptable to me. And I would say let's do the interview on Wednesday or Thursday, or get it done before I leave, and then from there make a recommendation. Let the committee make a recommendation to you all to take a look at it.
And you won't be at the next meeting?
No. I can send you all an email about what my opinion was about that interview, assuming we get it set up. I mean, we can hold off, assuming the guy's not looking for a job in Georgia. We can hold off till I get back, which I prefer, but I don't want to. In talking with Goody regarding
The other candidate.
candidate, Goody said, look, I think that I can, Goody said, I will work with the town of Jackson during these inspections and try to bring Kevin along during that time. Assuming he does his studying, he gets his certification. And I said, approximately how long? He said, well, that depends on the pitch.
And Kevin has submitted a letter for you guys in that pet stack
Okay.
tonight as well.
Okay. So it would be, some of the questions would be, if we said to Kevin, okay,
Or
Kevin,
the candidate.
the candidate,
Nameless.
the nameless candidate, well, okay, the other candidate is we would have to, I think, address some kind of pay question with him, because the only way he's going to learn is to spend time with Goody.
Right.
You can't do it by phone and all that stuff. So he would, my presumption would be that he would spend the 2 days a week with Goody to get up to speed, and, and he would have to then, if he did anything on his own time, in my opinion, it would be doing the bookwork. That's just the way it is. You're going to have to do the bookwork. And I personally don't feel comfortable saying we'll pay you the 3rd day to sit and study. I guess I think he has to decide how he wants it. And then we should, as an example, set some kind of limits that say, look, we want to see some progress if we're going to pay you to work with Goody, some progress on what you're doing and how you're moving along in it. And, I mean, there are parameters we can set up so we don't find ourselves 9, 10, 12 months from now saying, well, we don't have a certified inspector.
Yeah. Sure.
Just a comment on certification. I know, as being a teaching field, we often hire people who are uncertified in mathematics, for example. Give them 3 years to get certified, and the school district does not pay any money for any coursework to get themselves certified. And once they get certified, then they're eligible for the pool of money for staff development, but that's different.
Well, I personally think that's the appropriate way to go, is because we want them to learn, have hands-on and all
Right.
that, is to decide how spending time with Goody. I mean, it doesn't have to be 2 days a week, but we want them to learn, reasonably, and then set a time limit then and tell him Goody said he should easily be able to do it in 9 months or something like that. So, but he would have to say, I'm going to spend some time studying this and taking the test. And at the end of some period, I can reconfirm that with Goody. What's a reasonable time? The guy's working, he's going to make a living. What's a reasonable time? And if it's, I'm open for discussion. If it's a year, then it's a year, I guess. I mean, the worst that would happen to us is he would fall out and decide he doesn't want to do it. We'd be back here trying to find a building.
Okay, so we've got
We have a candidate.
a candidate who's interviewed and is motivated but does not have the credentials and the building inspector experience. And then we have a potential candidate you're trying to set up an interview for, who seems to have a lot of qualifications on the resume. And the committee is basically feeling like you want to get through that before you get to a point where you make a recommendation to the board. So you may or may not be in a position, it doesn't have to be you, it could be anybody from the committee. If you have any kind of recommendation to make to the board as early as next meeting, fine. If not, then the meeting after that or whatever. So I think just every other week, you're in here, keeping us appraised. That's
Okay.
great.
Okay, that's kind of where we are, to summary.
And then this was a letter from the candidate who's basically halfway through the course.
We still have the candidate from Vermont too.
Yes, that's the other thing we did. We wrote letters to both of the candidates saying, because of the limited number of people that applied, we are going to go out and look again, but we did not eliminate any candidate.
Have you seen this other candidates?
No, I haven't.
I think you sent it to me on email. Yes.
Okay. You've been busy, you've made progress, that's great.
Hopefully.
Keep up the good work, Phil. You have any more, you want to review that and weigh in? Okay. So then we've got a driveway permit here that needs signatures. So this is a permit that has already been approved by Jay, so don't really need to make a motion, or do we need to make a motion to approve the permit? It looks like it's already been approved by the road agent.
My opinion is, we talked about approving building permits and we decided not to do that. If we have and I'm asking the question, if we have a qualified person, Jay, that inspects the driveway, I would think that we would rely on him to do that, and we would not necessarily need to approve his stuff. That's my opinion.
So you're not looking for 3 unqualified people to make a motion and approve something that one qualified person has approved?
I think that summarizes it very perfectly.
Okay. Well, it's got one spot here to sign, so if you're both comfortable with it, I'll go ahead and sign it. We have a motion. And we've got an inspection form. And this is just for our, to get us caught up on where that situation is right now.
This is gonna be used after, for Jay's final inspection of the driveway,
Okay,
before the occupancy permit is issued
got it.
for occupancy, yeah.
Shall you want me to read this into the minutes? This is the driveway inspection form that was done on the Couture property. Inspection notes, retention ponds are working very well, very clean water. I checked 3 spots at the 1,000-foot mark of the road, and the grade met the 13 to 15% limits. Sonny's planning on rip-wrapping this section of the slope, and everything looks okay. First hill at 500-foot mark still needs work to meet grade. So that's just an update on where we are with that picture. Have you already seen that?
No, I haven't seen it.
Sure. Does that look to be?
Yeah, it's good. I like the plan on this next.
Right.
Yeah, that those been asked for, you know, in the past
That's the thing, he gets these things in all different
formats.
Yeah,
You know, that's not good.
right, exactly. Makes the job harder, he doesn't get it consistent. I think maybe getting that driveway permit ironed out and a policy for his book is gonna make a big difference. We have to be able to ask for consistent stuff, so. All right, well, we can move on then to new business. We have public comment underneath the old library, so I missed that. Anybody have any public comments they want to make? Yeah.
Memorial Day is coming up. Please don't allow yard signs on the memorial in the village. It's really disrespectful and tacky. They can put them where they have the skating rink, but where the memorial is, there shouldn't be signs advertising yards.
You mean by the,
By the
triangle,
school.
the triangle?
Yeah, the triangle with the veterans' names are.
I didn't notice that.
Is there a sign out there advertising a yard sale?
Oh, all the time.
Memorial Day weekend,
We have a
so
sign.
I don't, there shouldn't be any
There shouldn't be any
signs,
signs on
whether
the
it's
property.
Memorial Day weekend, to me, it's disrespectful.
We revisited that during the last primary or election, but our policy is, we have a sign ordinance that doesn't allow signage on town property. So,
Now, let me tell you.
I think that those are good points, and I think maybe we'll want to make sure that our ordinance is enforced. If that's a weekend where it tends to be violated, we might want to put our finest on alert.
You want to post something in e-news as well, so tell police and post it in e-news,
I would say,
or just tell
I
police?
don't know, how do you guys feel about that? Is that something that we should be
Maybe some
posting?
people just don't know. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to put out some information out there.
So e-news with police?
Work on a little reminder that can go out, sure.
Okay.
You all right with that? Ben?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I mean, just out of curiosity, are we asking the police to take the signs down?
Well, I think if we're asking them to enforce the ordinance and the ordinance has been violated, we probably are.
Okay. I'm okay with that. Let's find
Yeah, we're
out.
just talking about on town property, so we're not put a yard sale on their own property, that's a prerogative, right?
But you were talking about the triangle on the.
Right,
They're
flag is.
advertising weddings, estate sales, barn sales, yard sales, and it shouldn't be.
Okay. And if it's on town property, can I assume that we're saying for the police to take them down for that celebration?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, if anybody has old flags, if they leave them here, I will take them to the Legion so they can dispose of them. I've got all the old flags from the cemetery that were tattered and I bring them down to the Legion and they burn them on Flag Day. And Barbara and I are gonna put up, make sure all the veterans have their flags next week. We're going to both cemeteries. And she's got them at home and we'll put them up.
The sound system arrived too. Do we get the battery for that yet?
We're in the process of ordering it, we haven't done it yet, but we're.
Which, yeah, so we'll have a nice speaker system down there this year. Works great.
As long as it's not rainy.
Yeah, well, we get a 12.
We could probably put a can over it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a two-piece, it's really neat, it stands up quite nicely.
That request for old flags to be collected and sent to the Legion and burned on Flag Day might be.
They just leave them here.
Yeah.
Or just leave them here and I will take them down because I've got to take all the old
Yeah.
flags off
Thank you, Peter.
the old.
Yeah. Well,
Do
what
you
we're
have
saying is we put that on e-news too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Do you
just
have a-
leave them here and I'll pick them up.
Do you have a time frame, like you have to bring them in by X date?
They have to be there for Flag Day when they do the
Okay.
ceremony. They have a ceremony.
Before Flag Day. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll just pick them up and bring them down.
Thank you.
Glad I backed up and caught that public comment.
That's what I say.
Okay, I guess this is just an FYI, Bartlett Jackson ambulance meeting request, despite time, I don't know. Are those twice a year that they're scheduled anyway?
Yes,
I think the bottom
They just
line is
changed.
yeah, we just
They
changed
just
it.
changed their, at the last meeting.
Right,
Yeah.
and I think that's one of the things Bartlett wants to bring up is that Yeah, I think, in his mind, we updated an older contract, it wasn't current.
Well, he had a couple of things that he wants to discuss, but and I don't know if he wanted to do it during your normal scheduled time, but he just wants to get everyone together because he has things he wants to.
We normally have one of those in June.
I say so,
I've gone to one, I can't know.
yeah. It's a great time for it,
Do
though.
you want me to email Bartlett and see if kind of coordinate?
Yeah.
Sure.
Or see what we can do with that. Okay, we've got an unpaid taxes list that is an update from the tax collector. Probably somewhere in this file. Page. Wow. Guys want to move that over? That's just in the folder and as an FYI. So I guess you can just kind of call and see when the department selectmen have a convenient time to meet.
Okay.
Might be an opportunity for us to address the transfer station needs too.
Yeah.
Gene's got the money.
We should have
Do
it
you buy that?
in the office. We should have it in the office.
He asked.
Yeah, exactly.
Last meeting I have for you folks was December 5th.
Yeah, so June, you know,
That's perfect.
twice a year. Good. Maybe we take a look at that, maybe back that off to the next week in June. I'd be able to make that.
Second week in June?
Yeah, well, the action items have been meeting with the June dates on there. Yeah, the 19th is definitely out for me, so if we moved it to whatever that is, the 26th, I don't know if that works for them or it's getting too close to summer. You guys are retired anyway.
You could do it in between the week of the 5th and the 19th, or are you gone then as well?
I can do it at, yeah, it's just that day.
Okay.
Okay, so then we've got the North Country Council survey.
You guys might be able to just take, they said, they asked each selectman to take a few minutes at the next meeting and fill out the survey, so maybe you guys can just take that with you if you want.
Take it home,
Yeah.
3 copies, bring it back to the office.
Homework.
Yep, looks like it. Oh, it's one from Martha. And then you'll mail them out. What, we got 5 copies because they think there's 5 stuff.
I think
Good.
so.
Existing driveway or curb cut policy. This is what Jay had brought in at the last meeting for us to take a look at. There's just one copy of this.
Probably, because I usually do one copy when I've already emailed everything.
Grandfather one.
Same thing. Yeah, I think that's what he brought to the meeting.
Okay.
And this is-
That's what he talked about.
This is the second reading of that.
That's correct. That's correct. So
I'll leave that in there.
it's an existing driveway or curb cut policy, and it's basically pretty straightforward. Existing driveways, when previously documented or when accepted prior to the adoption of the town zoning ordinance, shall not require a driveway permit unless there is a change in use, a drainage issue, or another public safety matter. Yeah, this is the grandfather piece here. Driveways that existed before the adoption of the town zoning ordinance. So, would either one of you care to make a motion to approve this policy?
I do.
Second.
Okay, any discussion around it? Does it seem clear, straightforward, the second time through? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
And anyone opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. Very good. I have to thank Jay for doing that for us. Trustees of the trust fund, several requests here. We need to, how many different requests?
Well, there are 4 pieces of paper that are,
Total,
Yes.
okay. Taking one at a time. The first one is we want to authorize the transfer of $15,350 into the police cruiser capital reserve fund. Because there's an invoice that needs to be paid, so, look for a motion to transfer $15,350 into the police cruiser capital reserve fund.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Okay, very good.
and Martha, that was from Article 25, I think.
Town warrant Article 25. Not that one. Now, we're going to entertain a motion here to move to withdraw $31,599 from the police cruiser capital reserve fund to pay Route 46 Chevrolet invoices dated 5/13, and that's the invoice here connected with this.
Yep, and that's the purchase for the,
31,599, so that's what they've got for police cruiser amount. So I'll entertain a motion to withdraw that money and pay that organization for that cruiser.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we can sign this one. Starting your homework early. A true academician.
Yeah.
Next up is a request to withdraw a total sum of $10,368.59 to pay one invoice for the Highway Equipment Expendable Trust Fund.
and you guys kind of made this motion last week, so this is just the formal letter, so I don't know if you need to necessarily do the motion again, or,
And this is the $10,000 share of the motor repair. For the grader, exactly. So, well, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion, so it's nice and clean. Now, the bill is total $10,726. What we're pulling out doesn't cover everything, it's $357 short, and that will be coming out of the Highway Department budget. So, would either one of you care to make a motion to withdraw $10,368.59 from the Highway Equipment Expendable Trust Fund to pay Milton Cat invoice dated April 18th?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So that takes care of the motor. And then finally, we've got a request of the trustee of the trust funds to withdraw a total sum of $165 from the Police Department Equipment Expendable Trust Fund, which is a MasterCard charge reimbursement to Ossipee Mountain Electric. And this was phone system work?
I think it's, he wrote it in the email, is it cameras installed or something?
Okay. Oh, here it is up top. One of the cruisers is gonna have one of the new video cameras installed. Okay, great. Okay, so entertain a motion to withdraw $165 from the Police Department Expendable Trust Fund to pay the MasterCard charge from Ossipee Mountain Electric dated May 3rd.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. That's it for the trustee of the trust funds. Thank you. All right, next up, tax warrant article. Our tax collector has been directed to collect property taxes in the list herewith committed, and we need to basically sign this bill, and it doesn't take a motion, it's just an automatic signature on here authorizing the tax collector or to collect the monies. And then next up is from Karen Burton, Town Clerk Tax Collector. Request for us to renew contract for the mortgage lien and deed search organization that we've had a contract with in the past. Did this just lapse here recently? Is that?
I
We've been
think
operating
it's
without one for a while?
no, I think that this is just a yearly thing.
Okay, all right. So, make a motion to approve the contract with the independent contractor that we have a confidentiality agreement with for mortgage searches, liens, and deeds.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Okay. And we've got spots for more signatures than we need, but that's okay. The print and then sign. Oh no, that was just me.
It's you, it's
And then next up is the Historical Society. We talked about this before more than once, to borrow the Shapley painting. And everything's insured, so there aren't any issues with it. This is just an FYI, it's not.
Well, he has a spot, I don't know if it's a signature or just a date release.
He's going, that he's acknowledging receipt. Okay. And he's got a line here that's not for a signature, it's for a date of transfer.
Okay.
So I guess he's gonna, or whenever he actually takes the painting, someone.
So he can take it anytime from
Yeah,
at this point?
yeah, I think we already told him that, so there's no line to sign there,
Okay.
but just write the date in and keep that, keep it a copy if he wants
All
it.
right.
Charitable exemption requests. How many of these do we have?
There are 2 charitable and 1 current use, and Jason's recommendations are on all of them.
Okay. New Hampshire Public Radio, annual property tax exemption. I believe the decision could be supported either way. So he's basically not really making a decision on this one.
He just gave this to me today, so I haven't,
What did we do last year?
I thought we read it. Didn't we?
It was the self,
You did. We didn't approve it last
No, I think we did, no, I think we did.
I don't think we
yeah, I think we did.
We have a timetable on, we can.
It's debatable whether broadcasting non-commercial radio is a truly charitable activity. The RSA states an organization must perform some service of public good or welfare, advancing the spiritual, physical, intellectual, social, or economic well-being of the general public, or a substantial and indefinite segment of the general public that includes residents of the state of New Hampshire. So I guess that depends on how you feel about the content of the broadcast.
So, you're getting into, that may have been why we didn't do it before.
Yeah.
I remember this.
Can we table it or vote?
I
Yeah, I can vote for it.
don't think so.
Okay. Then there's no point in making a motion.
Okay.
No, I took no action on that one. Next up is the New England Forestry Foundation. And this also is one that our assessor recommends denial on, or this one he recommends denial on, is the current use assessment for a total assessed value is less than $24,000, so it generates a tax bill of less than $300, number one, and number two, he doesn't feel that it qualifies. You want to read that? Pass it over to John if you want.
I don't know what the year was on, I was going from the W. Yeah. But I thought it was different.
Thank you.
I would agree with you.
Can you see that, John?
Yeah.
I know I twisted my knee playing soccer with a bunch of fifth graders. Idiot.
Those fifth graders would get you every time.
Suckers.
Kick you down, did they?
I was playing goal.
Okay.
My foot caught underneath me.
All right, we're gonna take no action, I guess. Either one of you want to take any action on that? All right. Next up is from the Upper Saco Valley Land Trust. This is an application for current use. New Hampshire Department of Revenue Administration. Check is enclosed. Application for current use to preserve the ecological systems and cultural values of the Saco River Valley. This is one that Jason recommends that we approve. This application for current use from the Saco Valley Land Trust. And either one of you like to spend a little more time looking at it closer?
I'm okay. I'll agree with you.
All right, well, would either one of you like to make a motion to approve as submitted?
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
And a number of different spots here for us to sign. In black ink,
And black.
please. Okay. And it looks like we've got 3 or 4 spots. Total of 4 spots for signatures on this.
Homework. Yes, sir. Good points, man. If you're bad enough, those two issues for me. You know, if you call me, I couldn't do it for this, and I was laid up all day, and and I talked to these guys already. Put that in mind, put that in mind. Right. Get on the list.
And 4 spots there. While you're doing that, if you would like, we can just kind of go through next item on the agenda, old business, which was, that has been drafted that appoints Huntley Allen as an alternate on the zoning board of adjustment. And we've already approved that, so this is just a matter of signing this on this 15th day of May. No.
Should do my homework.
Yes.
See Huntley on the scene there.
That is the old business. Yes, welcome aboard, Huntley. Now into work. Next up was the deposit authority that we already approved and recommended, came to us from the treasurer. So now we've got the spots for everybody to sign this and date it. And it's for all 3 of our full-time police officers, our town treasurer, and the 3 selectmen. So I'll just pass this one around. May 15th, 2014. Oh, I'm sorry.
Just wanted you to know that I've asked Barbara Terrio to be my deputy, and she's on vacation this week, and then I'm going to be gone a few days next week, so before the next meeting, I'll have a form written out to have you approve that. Okay?
Great, we'll look forward to that.
Okay.
She's gonna get caught up in the San Diego fires out there.
Why not?
Yeah.
That's who she is.
That's exactly where she is.
Yeah.
So are the double up there.
Yeah.
Just ran into her at the sunrise shot on Mother's Day.
Was that, yeah, they had breakfast with PT, was that what it was?
Yeah, well, she was there.
She said she hosts, she
Yeah, she's
works there
interested.
I
Sundays.
didn't know that. I saw that in the sign, I'm like going, it can't be Barbara.
Yeah,
That was funny.
we went in there because Frank was working on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
He was a good lesson too, so. Okay,
And with a discount then.
well, no, but we get good service, so. Do we need to discuss the old library anymore?
No, I didn't take that off, I should have
Yeah.
taken that off.
Yeah,
That's all right.
okay. And everybody's been updated on the transfer station, which was another little piece of old business I wanted to just discuss, but we've already gone over that, so. Any more public comments? Any of the citizens in attendance? Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate the input. And we'll get right on that e-news for all that stuff. And I'll entertain a motion to enter into non-public session.
So moved.
Second.
91A32C.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you all for coming.
some tiger balm.
That's right.
I'm all right.
Tiger balm.
Tiger balm will straighten you out.
Do you have the Advil?
I'm
What?
fine.
Okay.
Just tweak.
Tiger balm is